This is things you might ought to know for Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and it's fire because I didn't have the actual screen up. So bear with me. Producing on air is always a blast doing things going forward. Thank you for joining us. If you came over from the live feed, that was things you might not have heard. The morning news update we have 5 days a week that goes you the news stories that you deem as conversational. And now we're doing what we call the fun stuff. This is where we split that show from the other show because the other show got really long, and this one got really long. So we're trying to do our best to do fun stuff. It's been a long week and it's only Wednesday, which is ridiculous, but it is. It seems like the hangover from last week's election week is still drawing over. So if you need to take some of those liver pills for your hangover, this might be a good time to keep on going forward. But we're going to have some fun today with some news. That's not really news, some old news, if you will. The things happen in history. Also, our things to celebrate and a fun batch of birthdays. Starting off with this beautiful lady right here. This is a woman I call my fake TV life aunt, because if I lived a fake TV sitcom life and I could script as it would be, she'd be my aunt who may or may not have killed 2 of her 5 husbands, and definitely has a flask and a pistol in her purse. This is Whoopi Goldberg. Auntie Whoopi is, of course, turning 69 years old on the day. So the celebration for her. I followed her career literally all my life, as she is, a good 19 years older than I am. From her comedy stuff to her early movie stuff to her transition to being a sci-fi queen in Star Trek, and now being more of a political activist, if you will, but taking over for The View and being a more active person. I have actively spoken about one of her early books called Book that I thought was terrible, and just got to the point where that's how I realized I could write books. I didn't think the book was very good. I don't mind her takes, but I guess it was written originally as a comedy person doing, commentary, and it just was kind of all out there based on 80s stuff. Whoopi Goldberg, big fan of stuff right now, and just happy to have my TV auntie on TV and showing up at the cookouts. Also, birthday today, Jimmy Kimmel turning 57 years old. If you're worried about Jimmy Kimmel, don't too much. I'm sure he'll figure things out, but right now he's one of the people leading the charge on saying that late night television, something he dreamed of doing all his life as a young person, because he looked up to the Johnny Carsons, as I did myself. Late night TV in its current iteration ain't going to be around in 10 years. So what's he doing in 10 years? He's probably looking towards retirement at that point, going there, but we'll see what happens. And actor Gerard Butler. I don't even know why I did that. 55 years old on the day. Happy birthday to this great trio of folks today. Our history lesson for this day, being the 13th of November, let's go back to 1982. This is the day that the Vietnam Memorial for Veterans was dedicated in Washington, D.C. What came in after a march to the site with thousands of veterans going to there to show their respects for the wall, as it essentially is. One of the not so much controversial, but the way it got about, the war itself was controversial, and getting out of it was as well. And it's still, but at the time, back in the 80s and through, of course, maybe the early 90s, until we got started doing Desert Shield, Desert Storm type stuff, we sort of tried to exercise ourselves of the tragedies and the stench that we had of Vietnam. It was a war that was divisive, a war that was really brought in a lot of emotions. And there's still people to this day who are suffering from living through those incidents, either as a person going to war or as families of people that were broken up by this one. This happened on the date on 1982, where they actually dedicated the Memorial in Washington, D.C. And I have not seen it because I've been to D.C., but I have no friends as a military veteran and as an ROTC alumni. People have gone to the wall. We have a person on the wall who's from our detachment that we sponsor, and people have seen that and gave love to that family and that soldier as well. Also, in 1990, not as far away as 82, but still pretty far, still 40 years ago, the World Wide Web first began. The World Wide Web address was, here we go, info.cern.ch / the word hypertext / www.theproject.html. I've not checked to see if that site still works, but we'll do it when we're done with this thing. We're already running a little late, so we'll do it a little later. And in 2020, Kylie Minogue became the first woman at the top of the UK album chart for over 5 consecutive decades. with disco. Let's get some learning in today. Your word for the day happens to be disapprobation. Disappropriation. Disappropriation. That's the word. Disappropriation. And the word means an expression of strong disapproval. Using a sentence, her disappropriation for the project was not just vocal, colon. She also penned an extensive critique outlining her concerns. She wrote a stern email alongside yelling at people as well. Thank you, Karen. So your word today is disappropriation. So if you want to be disappropriate about something, please use it in context, and please be careful that you don't use it in the wrong context, because grammar Nazis are abound. Find out more big words, more words to learn at our project, the Big Words Project, aptly named, thebigwordsproject.com. Find out more words like that and buy some of our books. We have books called Big Words You Ought to Know, vocabulary books for words for you, and purchase of those books help out reading programs for youngsters here in the state of Arkansas. I give $1 for each book sold to a program called AR Reads, and they could use it. So if you want to help out, another way to help out as well. Let's get some helping out for you. Today's affirmation may be something that can help you on this path to betterness. It is, I am loved more than I ever thought possible. So, do you feel lonely? This will help reduce some of those feelings of loneliness. And it might just be a temporary thing where you just don't feel like anybody really understands your idea. But if you're feeling that way, reminding yourself that you are actually loved more than you think about it. More people are thinking about you than you think they are. More people actually have feelings of support and feelings of joy towards you that surround you that you think will help boost those things up there. So don't think you're actually, and even if you're dealing with something like serious depression, something like that, something to make you feel a little better and help you get out of that funk to get better in those cases is to remind yourself that you're not alone, and to, go deeper into the Michael Jackson song, I am here, you, many people around you, those are around you that are there. And sometimes you be in a crowd full of people and feel totally alone because no one seems to get you. Someone's out there and they get you. Find someone to talk to and think about the fact that you probably aren't quite as isolated as you believe, even though the moments and the situation makes you feel isolated. It's part of the issues that we deal with being humans. And today, we don't celebrate one of my more funner things, but we're sticking with food because it was one of the more non-divisive things to pick for our celebration. And bread pudding day is today. It's a classic pudding made with custard and bread cubes, and it was born out of the 11th or 12th century. So it's been around for a while, because what do you do with stale bread? Way back when, you can't, you used everything up. You did not just let things go to waste. You didn't just take it and toss it to the birds. No, the birds get their own crap. You ate that stuff. So the first recipes were very savory. Essentially, they were, included cheese and onions and mushrooms and vegetables and meat into them. The original bread puddings were basically way to actually get a meal, and then top of custard. And then now they're basically sugary and more affordable because it's not so much made to make a meal, it's made to make a dessert. Still, you use bread cubes and things like baguettes, brioche, challah bread, cinnamon rolls, and panettone for delicious things. There are also savory baguette and brioche and whole grain bread recipes as well. So if you're a fan of bread pudding, today's a day to rejoice and put it in people's faces. If you're not, tomorrow is another day. Quick stop by for our sponsor for today. We're going to talk about Zenni Optical. And Zenni Optical is a sponsor that we are very happy to be a part of. I've been using them for longer than they've been a sponsor. I've been buying from them for 10 years. And ironically, basically same frames for 10 years because I like them. They're basic, they're inexpensive, and they work. I bought various different types of frames and different type of lenses for other things. I have sunglasses. I have some sports glasses in my gym bag. I've added tint to these glasses, help me see things on computers more better, which is not grammatically correct. But Zenni Optical, for a personal standpoint, is my way of saving my life in my money for my eyes. You can get great lenses for a very low price and not have to spend a lot of money to send them back. You can get all the technology you're looking for men's glasses, for women's glasses, for kids' glasses, including transition styles or blue light blocker styles or whatever you're looking for, or deep shades for sunglasses. And if you buy from them right now as a first-time buyer, they'll give you 10% off your first buy. And they will also give us a small commission for your buy for using our link for affiliate links. This is the conversationproject.com/Zenni. This So conversationproject.com/Zenny. Check out Zenny Optical today so you can get the best glasses, best eyewear for yourself out there. It is amazing what they do for you with customer service and great affordable prices. They are Zenny Optical. I want to remind you, Conversation Project is basically powered by you. Well, technically, it's powered by cash money because we have to pay for the internet stuff, but it's really powered by you. This things you might ought to know, and also the main headline stuff we do, which are literally main headlines, is powered by the work you do to help us get things done. So we need your assistance. Like, share, and subscribe to the work we do. Now, we had an oddity. I'm doing an audible and we're long, so we're just gonna make this work. I had a fairly consistent chat live with someone in the live shot for things you might not have heard in the previous for the day, which was interesting and also shows just how hard it is to kind of manage those live discussions and do real time talk when you're not just sitting there doing the chats back and forth and it's not staged. So I'm happy for that. But we're also happy to have you guys involved, helping us get closer and closer to real monetization, that is ads on our YouTube. So we need more subscribers on YouTube. So like the videos you're watching here, if you like the birthdays or you like the news stuff, like those things, so we see more people seeing those things in your feeds, in their feeds, so they'll go into it. Share it with folks who are like-minded, who want to see more news like this or more fun stuff like this, and subscribe so you don't miss out on it. I'm not even asking for notifications. Just subscribe and check your own subscriptions. That's what I do. I don't get notifications because they get annoying, but I go check out things every so often and see what's going happening. Just like we ask you to check the feeds for Facebook and X and Threads to see what the stories are that you want to engage in. Like, share, and subscribe to help us get more people in the queue, in the conversations going forward. Running a little long. O's going to get me on these next day. So we got to work on tightening up the things you might want to know going forward. I might ramble less about my TV aunts going forward and things like that to make this work out. But thank you so much for joining with us and sticking with us for this. We have a bunch of people who are watching live on the X and on YouTube. So we thank you so much for doing that as well. If you love this type of stuff, give me a comment. Let me know how I can do more of it or you want less of it that's there. I'm trying to find ways to shave off time so I can do a funny story, off-topic story at the wrap things up like I used to do in the past. You know, one more thing you might have to know. But we got to work on time. So we're making that work out. If you have any suggestions like, hey, Payne, shut up at this point, I'll take them. Email us at the conversation inbox at gmail.com for suggestions, comments, commentary, concerns, complaints, all there as well. With that, we bid you adieu for this Wednesday morning as I do this. Maybe you're watching in a replay on Wednesday afternoon, or maybe it's some Wednesday in the future. We thank you for being with us and the conversation. Make sure you let us know where we are. Go to our website, thisisconversationproject.com. Sign up for our email newsletter so you don't get missed out on those things. And be cool, y'all. Just be cool. We'll see you guys tomorrow.